Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your favorite podcast in the entire world. We have a special guest today.
Wow.
Who do we have?
We have Kurt Wagaman from PurLite to talk about this amazing UV light technology and his story. So fascinating. I think a lot of you guys will actually relate to the story.
Really relate to it. What a fun guy, too. Fun guy and really smart.
Yeah.
We got a quick, good interview of how he came up with this thing and his history, and it was great.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Okay. We also end that with a discount code, of course, and also we're plugging his LinkedIn because he is a very informed guy, and if anyone has any questions for him, hit him up. Hopefully he'll answer as many as he can.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Okay, it's inauguration time.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, we got to talk about that. We got to talk about preparations. It looks like 2 people from the National Guard have already been yanked out for, potentially being radicalized. So shit's gonna, it's a little crazy, but we're gonna cover all of it. We're gonna cover the speed bumps that it seems like maybe the Trump team is trying to throw in the road of Biden just to make life a little difficult. Of course, we have a dip off into crypto land to give you some updates on what's going on there. And then we have some business talk. All things. We're talking about Shopify, a weird problem that's going on over there, a huge IPO that's coming up next. Apple might finally be paying attention to a little-known industry called podcasting.
Can't wait.
Have you heard of a podcast before?
I think so. I think it's like radio, but, like satellite radio or something. And then next up, last but of course not least, we're going to talk about Chipotle.
I didn't even know it was a thing.
And D has a message to our listeners early on in the episode.
And D has a message directly to our
SMD.
listeners. Well, I was thinking about the Menlo message.
I forgot about that.
A lot of messages.
One SMD, one not.
And rate and review us, please. We've been light on that recently.
Yeah.
Big rate and review guy.
Head over to iTunes podcast app on your phone, rate and review us, get us up on that algorithm. Let's get into it. All right, here we are.
Yes.
We're back.
We're back and we got a special guest.
What's up, Kurt?
Not much. How you guys doing?
I would assume you're going to be our cleanest guest ever.
That would only be right. I mean, I would guess on brand, you probably don't say cuss words. You probably are very polite.
I'll let it go with that. Yeah, no pushback.
You just exude cleanliness.
Kurt, great to have you here. And, we obviously talk about PurLite on the podcast, and I have one at home, and it's an incredible product. You must have had a good fucking year.
I mean, the timing of Kurt. Holy cow.
I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, the amount of wood this man has.
It's surrounded.
Yeah, it's like he stole from Abe Lincoln.
Yeah. I mean, if you could have put in your marketing plan, global pandemic where everyone is paranoid of germs, you couldn't have hit a bigger home run on that front.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to say it's a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while, but no, it was a beautiful piece of timing. The onboarding of the project, it had actually been around for quite a while, for about 4 years. The actual CEO, owner, Tim Busby, had this project, which he knew years ago could have legs. And it was last fall. He said, "Listen, if you'd like to grab this by the horns, we've got to get something that's sustainable, green, commonsensical. We got to get this out. I want to be in every house in America." And he didn't have to say that twice. And I jumped on the team and took off and ran with it from there.
And what were you guys thinking when you heard that this bat was spreading a virus around the world? Were you just like...
They were thinking, yes, it worked.
It worked. I mean, like, it's just like...
Honestly,
Go ahead.
Well, it's honestly the first thing in my mind was I want to double down, do even more lab testing because I tend to be kind of the science geek in a way. And I wanted to verify that, man, everything that we're claiming I can repeat and make legit. So part of the drive for us was I want to be a gold standard in a light company, not just some gadget or some wand or some piece that's out there right now, which is kind of saturating the market, to be honest. But I want to be setting the standard and put our money where our mouth is on results.
And where did this product come from? So it's used in doctor's office. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, we've got several medical facilities that are using these. For example, you'll see it like at a nurse's station where they'll come up and they'll do their phones, their keys, their swipe cards, things like that. While they're waiting, they'll find some awesome product like a misty spray. Do you guys have any idea of anybody with one of those? Or, to do their hands when they then grab the device and pull it out, everything's rocked and locked and loaded. Dentists are using them a lot. We're seeing folks that are now cutting on their PPE costs because of a recent article from 3M saying, listen, you can use UVC on N95s, up to 10 times. So instead of dumping them in between every client, they can go cook them for 30 or 100 seconds, get an awesome sanitizing destruction level, and then go right back out on the floor and really cut their costs on PPEs.
And what's the science behind the UV? It's. I remember when Trump said, it's sunny out, like the virus is going to die.
Is there any way to shine this light inside of the body?
So, there's clear science behind the UV. So I don't know. I'd love to hear the more scientific background, not what the former president said.
Yeah. So the short version, the Cliff's Notes, which dates me a little bit, but the cheating way to think of it is yes, the sun creates the UVC, but it's usually reflected off the ozone layer, and so we manufacture it here to use to disinfect. So it's been in the medical world for decades, and there's a sweet spot when you look at a light coming from a UV light. There's a sweet spot, and they measure that wavelength in nanometers. So without getting too crazy, you got to hit that sweet spot. You want to be right around that 254 nanometers because the calculus that exists definitely says, okay, H1N1, avian, human coronavirus, SARS-CoV-2, all these things we know when exposed at that wavelength for this period of time will kill it dead as hell.
That's so crazy. I'll be honest with you. Now, because of this, I get it. And obviously having this conversation, even for me, is super helpful because I've always seen these things like out in the world. You see the different UV light sort of products. And I always was like, I just don't get it. I just don't understand how that really works. And like even when the pandemic started, I started going super hard and wiping my whole phone down 3 times a day with Clorox bleach wipes, but I'm like, how many of these is it going to take before my phone starts shorting out?
Yeah.
I'd love to just pop it in this light thing. And until now, it just didn't get it,
Yeah. Well, and a lot of times when we're talking about the pluses, we want to get rid of all the, there's a ton of single point use out there, right? The wipes you were talking about. And we want to try to get to a more responsible, sustainable way to disinfect. And just to kind of tie that one up, what that light does is it really screws up at a cellular level, like the mitochondrial level of these organisms. So whether it's Salmonella, E. coli, Staphylococcus, Streptococcus, or a virus, what it does is it goes into the organism and it destroys their ability to replicate. And it also destroys, up to 99.999% of it. So it also inhibits or prohibits the ability for it to, procreate.
How do you get people comfortable that they can be confident their phone won't be damaged? Because as expensive as iPhones are now, I just feel people can be a little hesitant. So just get them comfortable.
Right. Now there's some articles out there, like the 3M article. There's articles that talk about how the plastic's not getting affected, how screensavers aren't getting affected. But you can pretty much think of it as if you set your phone, not to a detrimental side, but if the sun ever hits it, those aren't damaging your phone. If it sits at 150 degrees on your picnic table, it will. But it'd be like you don't want any exposed skin to it any longer than you'd have to, for the same reason you'd have skin cancer over prolonged use. But pacifiers, baby tools, toys, gaming remotes. We've got a huge push going with people that want to game, and they just drop that in between sessions, and it comes out the way they like it, rather than trying to wipe them down with it or spray them,
And gamers have to be disgusting.
There's Doritos,
Mountain Dew.
H1N1, a little bit of
Sperm.
SARS-CoV-2, a
Jeez.
little bit of sperm lotion.
Yes. You can only imagine what a teenage boy's
a hand, sweaty hand.
And then how do you end up in this business? Like, what's your background? Because you clearly have some a lot of knowledge just on you were spewing out a lot of caucuses. So like, I don't a lot of
Watch your language. He's a clean guy.
But I'd love to
bridges.
but I'd love, because I think our listeners are always, you found this incredible opportunity, and timing, obviously, people like to say it's luck, but like you clearly saw there was an opportunity and the world changed this way. But I'd love to hear your background.
Well, to be honest with you, it's grabbing the bull by the horns when you get a chance. I came from a very heavy science education background. I've taught science at different levels. I then was running projects out of the Port of Seattle, out into the Aleutian Islands. My wife's a teacher. We were able to bust out of here, go up for 3 months, raise the kids out on the Bering Sea, build a couple little cabins. And I was running projects for different operators, whether it was putting in a little strip out in the tundra, or whether it was running a boat up with a Coast Guard certification up toward the Shelikof Strait to drop it for a halibut fisherman that wanted a boat up there. And they'd pick me up in a Super Cub and go back. So I was doing all these fun projects and just kind of raising the family out on the summers. And a dear friend of mine introduced me to a very, very successful businessman that wanted to start the largest aquaponic facility in the world, just over here in Wisconsin. And at that time, it was dirt. There were 3 of us. And I left there about a year ago. We had 100 employees. It's the largest aquaponic facility in the world, first land-based Atlantic salmon. They're doing great, organic, going to Whole Foods and everything. But that really started keying me in on building that company with the president to learn about sustainable operations. Ran across a lot of good folks, did a little bit of lobbying in D.C., caught up with some folks that are saying, hey, there's ways we can do all these initiatives and work on these while you're being green at the same time. And so I ran into the owner of this company when he was pitching me a compostable thermal-formed clamshell for the lettuce. And, it's kind of ambiguous to be putting an organically certified leafy green that you grew with salmon shit to literally put it into a PLA or a plastic container. So to me, I felt that was ambiguous. And so we were always looking for the new answer. Well, the owner that I work for also has a company that's doing that, which has a very, very, very highly proprietary patented biopolymer that in 9 months turns back to carbon dioxide and water. So if some guy throws it in the ditch or you throw it in the garbage and it goes to the landfill, your garbage bags, your forks, your cutlery, you're going to see this come out retail in places like Target, things like that soon. And so he approached me, and given the fact that I needed to help with supply chain, get some things tightened up, get a new and improved model, we've now been able to start really pushing product now in 2020 and launch new product now in 2021, which is a larger version called the Pro, which you guys ought to get your hands on. I'll have to send a couple out. But, these types of things, now you're talking Chromebooks, iPads, things like that. So now every nurse's station that's running these, reading charts, we want to keep that portfolio fat and make sure that we're fulfilling that need, whether it's the mom coming home from obstetrics or whether it's the guy that owns an insurance company that wants to buy 8,000 of them for his employees as a Christmas gift.
Wow.
That's
that's
amazing. It's an amazing background. Like, you've lived a pretty interesting life, which is pretty fascinating. And what I think is more interesting is besides all the wood in your home, is that we talk about so many different entrepreneurs here, and we end up talking about a lot of the folks you hear on, you read about or you hear about on television or you hear on the newspapers. And you have this incredible background and a more unorthodox background, and it's incredible your life story. I mean, just being out in the middle of the sea and building businesses and like, it's a pretty like cool life.
That's so cool.
It's so cool, and it's like, I just think that like it's refreshing to see people outside of like the big cities, obviously doing interesting things, because I think people get this idea that you have to be in LA, San Francisco, New York to actually build incredible products or brands. And you're in, you said Southeast Minnesota?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like also there's a lot of attention on like, mid-20s, started an e-com business, use Facebook ads. Like there's a lot of that story.
Yeah.
Where like there's also these other stories where opportunity, you don't talk about, the great thing about this current day and age is the opportunity and the low barrier to entry. That's what we always talk about. And I feel like there's all these type of stories of people who said, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to go start my own business that don't get highlighted,
And I think, the amount of words you've used that I'm not familiar with.
I know.
You're clearly smart. I don't even know what aquaponic means.
I know. Yeah. Is that a weed thing?
So I don't want to. Hey, it's coming. It's coming. But no, it's just hydroponics is raising in a greenhouse. Aquaculture is raising fish. When you marry the two technologies and you harness the nutrient-rich water from the fish, comes out of them as ammonia. When you just nitrify that and convert it to nitrates, which is old high school chemistry, you can then feed plants that are floating in the water, and that's what that business was about. But I'll tell you right now, my kids, I'm an empty nester. My daughter's in college. My son left 2 years into the sales world, and he's killing it. Grinders, guys. I can't say it enough. I'm not the smartest guy on the planet. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shelf, but I'll tell you, I'm a grinder. And I've learned that I hate losing more than I enjoy winning. And I got to be honest, that's it. And so if I don't know it, I'm going to learn it. I don't know website conversion and what's cost per click. And by the way, supply chain. Well, if I didn't know it, I had to immerse in it. So that's why we're excited, because we're small, we're young, we're growing. And with partners like you, I feel like we can explode. So appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, what a great story.
What a great story, man. I can't wait to keep learning more. And it's truly great to, the cool thing about this show is we're able to kind of partner up with people that we like, and we truly just like what they're doing, as opposed to having to, take advertising and stuff from anyone. So it's super great to be aligned with you. Can't wait to hear more. And of course, we're going to put you on the spot. Did you come with any gifts by any chance? Our listeners love freebies. They love discounts. I don't know if you have a code maybe in your pocket.
A clean pocket.
In your clean UV lit pocket.
Let me look at it.
Take it out of the cooker.
Yes. Yeah. The UVC says that I'm going to throw a promo code at you and your listeners called Group Chat. And if you go to website and you go to checkout and you put in Group Chat, I'm going to throw you a BOGO. So you're going to literally get one for nothing. So you can buy one, and I'll throw in a second one for nothing for you and all your listeners. Period. Done deal.
We love a good BOGO over
Group
here.
Chat.
Purelight.com/group chat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
There it is. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your story. Thanks for the partnership here, and looking forward to watching it really blow up.
I appreciate it, and thanks again for all your time. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
What a guy.
Kurt's a great guy, and I asked him because I feel like a lot of our listeners would connect with him.
Yeah.
To hit him up on LinkedIn if you want.
Yep.
Kurt Wagaman.
And we'll put the link probably in the.
Yeah.
Sorry, were you going to spell his last name?
Yeah, Wagaman.
Okay.
We'll put it in the show notes. But you should hit him up because, I feel like it's a incredible path for a lot of people.
Incredible path, and I feel like he has a lot of really practical knowledge. From anything from science to operations.
Yeah,
to,
he's really smart. Just his vocabulary.
Yeah.
He's my counter to if you're not an engineer, you're a dummy.
Yeah, you're right.
He's actually figured it. Well, he might be an engineer by trade.
That's
Sounds
true.
like he has a science background. So
He's
he might-
very smart, so
Yeah.
he's
Yeah. That's good. You know, with a product like this, where like you're talking about UV and killing germs, like you want a trustworthy, smart guy.
Yeah,
you don't
yeah.
want like some 25-year-old
Yeah,
kid.
but like,
Like,
yo, you know-
bro, this guy's from Alibaba. Check it out.
With TikTok videos.
Okay, before we get started, you had some Menlo Club news?
Yeah, so I know a ton of our listeners are Menlo Club members.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to give you guys, be fully transparent. Our January club package, which was a GRC pant and jacket that I was excited to ship to our customers, arrived into the port in LA about a week ago.
Yep.
And originally it was supposed to get released last week.
Yeah.
That's what we were under the impression. It got delayed on the ocean. And then it's been sitting in the middle of the ocean
Yep.
for now nearly 10 days,
Just waiting for a parking spot.
waiting for a parking spot.
Yeah.
And then they said it could potentially get parked at the port, docked at the port this week, but it could take up to 10 days to be delivered. Being in the subscription business, this is no bueno.
No. Mm-mm.
No bueno.
No.
And so we were obviously extremely anxious about what to do.
Yep.
So I wanted to just let everyone know that first, sorry, that wasn't the plan. Second, what we're doing is we're offering every single member $120 of store credit, and they can buy whatever they want on our e-commerce store. I loaded it up with a ton of new product. So there's plenty of choices. You can buy New Republic shoes. You can buy other GRC products. You can buy all the new 5.4 outerwear we just dropped, Melrose Place, a ton of news, a ton of stuff.
Yep.
And so you have that option. You can check your email today. There'll be a store credit and you can go redeem it. Your other option is, I don't want to deal with that. We will ship this package. It'll just be late. It'll probably ship at the end of this month.
Yep.
Or if you don't want to do either of those options, there's other inventory we have and we can put together your package.
Yep.
So it's a solution for a problem that is very, very hard to solve.
Yep.
We've been dealing with this all year. We've never, ever in like our company history not shipped a month of product since we've been around. So this is just very frustrating, but it is what it is. And I'd rather just be honest with everyone because we've had a lot of members who've been with us for 5, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
So this is our situation. I hope you work with us on it. Hit up our customer service team. If you have any questions, concerns, we'll work with you and we'll figure out, you have your 3 options that you can choose from. But,
Yeah. That's one thing that, I guess you only really know if you have a business that imports goods, and especially like e-commerce businesses and stuff, but like how much COVID, the change in shopping patterns, all that has affected not only the ports and incoming product has been horrendous, but also these mail carriers. We just went through Christmas where we were told I don't know, they'll get it whenever they get it. And you're having packages just go missing from the system and then they show up at someone's house or maybe they don't or whatever's happening. And from what I hear, it's because they're dealing with influx of stuff, but also COVID outbreaks at all their little places, and no one's really saying it. They're just trying to deal with it.
Yeah.
So it's a COVID outbreak at the delivery spot. So they shut down how they're unloading goods. Is that what you're saying?
It's just overwhelming.
At the distribution center where everything goes into and flows through, and everyone's trying to just get by and not shut off business. But you're working with half staff and this and that, and pretty crazy.
And even there's another problem that's happening. There's so many shipping containers sitting out in the middle of the ocean right now that there's not enough containers in China right now. So
Because
the
they
next
haven't
problem,
gone back.
They haven't gone back.
Yeah.
So the next problem is going to be you won't even be able to get a fucking container here, right? So it's like this supply chain disruption that started last March is going to be 1 year. For New Republic, there was 5 months we didn't get new product last year. 6 months maybe even. It's the amount of supply chain disruptions the companies had to deal with. Just everyone's dealing with it. And then you take domestic issues with carriers having too much an influx of demand. People are trying to be safe at their warehouses, so you can't stuff a ton of people to just get more work done.
Yeah.
You can't overwork people because you want them to be healthy. It's very like, from a consumer standpoint, I think consumers have been pretty damn patient in general this past year. I just didn't think we'd still be dealing with it.
I know. It's funny because at first it was the outbreaks in the warehouses in China. That's what shut that down, right? And then it sort of trickled over to like blending into everything. It's wild, man. It's funny too because everyone's talking about like, oh, you know, e-commerce is up and doing well and blah, blah, blah. But no one's really like talking about that part of it.
And the next big issue to be aware of if you're in this business is Chinese New Year is around the corner.
Yep.
COVID has came back to China. What do you think happens during Chinese New Year? It's the same thing. You go, it's their time to get together with their family, their time to go have their parties and celebrations. There is a real fear. I talked to a factory owner. There's a real fear that they could be coming back from Chinese New Year with serious outbreak again.
Yeah, because that'll be the same as just families hanging out, but the difference is they'll just seal that apartment building.
Totally.
You 400,000 people, we're never going to see you again.
Totally.
They don't care.
It'll just be like, yo, half of my manufacturing staff just didn't come back. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for the thanks for shedding some UV light on that topic.
We're going to kill the problem.
Kill the confusion. And great. Good transparency. News.
Yeah.
Want to talk about it?
Well, you know, on it says people don't like that we talk about politics.
Yeah, that's, you know what? That's the feedback we're getting.
There's a little saying, suck my.
So that's our feedback. Listen.
Here's the thing. We have two options when we discuss politics. You can completely avoid it and pretend that it doesn't exist. Which I think would be irresponsible given how big our audience is.
Agreed.
We can briefly touch on it. I think during the election period, we were heavy, and then we kind of walked away from a lot of the political talk. But here's the reality. Politics in America impacts our business life. You know, when everyone is worried about, I don't know if you drove on Sunset, they're boarding up fucking Sunset again. Because the inauguration is tomorrow.
QAnon's coming through.
So, exactly. You know, and then they just arrested 3 people from Beverly Hills.
Yeah, I saw that.
Who are part of the rioters.
I have actually a funny situation this morning. It's actually not funny. So I'm on my morning walk with Mav, get him his smoothie, his milk. We're walking around, and this stocky guy starts walking by. I see him like a block away. No mask, obviously.
Yeah.
And then he gets...
White guy or?
Yeah, white guy.
Okay.
He gets in front of me, and he's got a big backpack, and it's like an American flag with some writing, and I was genuinely scared.
I told you.
Yeah.
I told you, man.
And I don't want to racially stereotype, but I was like, fuck, should I turn around?
You're like the white dad in Nebraska that was scared of the Indian guy on his plane.
I was legitimately like, should I go a different block? Should I turn around? But, I definitely made sure I knew got my bearings, where would I bolt if I need to do something?
It's true, man. It's totally true. Whenever I pass a car with a Trump sign or whatever, I feel kind of on edge.
If he wore a mask, I'm not going to care. But I was like, this guy's purposely, and in my neighborhood, everyone wears a mask.
Yeah. This guy fits the bill.
Yeah.
You know? Stocky white dude, American flag, no mask. Fucking watch out. That dude just soaks in the QAnon content.
I was debating, do I ditch the stroller? We've got stuff in there. Do I just grab Mav and run? Do I run with the
Start
stroller?
thinking about your exits. Oh, shit. It's so true, man. So that being said, there is a lot of comparison to, some people are calling it domestic terrorists and stuff like that, and radicalization. And there is this heavy similarity, all jokes aside, to terrorism and people being radicalized. And one of the things is that 2 National Guards members have been removed from Inauguration Day security because they found out that they were soaking up the QAnon videos.
Yeah.
This is crazy. They are legitimately worried that a cop or a National Guards person will try to attack the president or something because they're a QAnoner.
Yeah, I think we've reached some pretty peak madness. I think the more and more information we roll out, you have to admit that they had to shut this off the platform because this, dude, no one ever wanted any harm on Donald Trump because we've said it on this podcast 100 times. He needs to be protected at all costs. He's the leader of our country. It just looks fucking bad. Mm-hmm. We need this inauguration to go off without a hitch, peacefully go on, and our country to continue to function as it normally does. And any disruption in that is bad for the world.
Yeah.
And
even the visuals of what Washington looks like is kind of bad for the world.
Yeah, and like it's just flags. That's what they put instead
in place
of people.
I know.
Which is kind of
200,000 flags. Can you imagine how awkward it must be? Like when you're used to, Biden's been there for Obama's. And to be there and it's just a sea of flags and like silence. Yeah. And then you're watching your back to see what National Guardsmen is fucking trying to like kill a pedophile ring.
Oh my God. It's
just imagine a world, and this is super like scare news, and I don't mean to do this, but it's fun. Imagine a world where we are pulling National Guards members because they're Al-Qaeda. We learned that they've been radicalized by Al-Qaeda.
My God.
And we are legitimately worried about which members of the National Guard and police, and we're watching them because we fully acknowledge that some of them may have been radicalized and might be terrorists with a different plot. That's like the most petrifying thought in the world.
You just described the starting of Homeland.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
We need a new one because it's literally Homeland.
What's crazy is do you see how the FBI is very quickly, it's been 2 weeks or 1 week since the Capitol?
January 6th. So we're the 19th?
Yeah, so 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
The FBI in 2 weeks has gone all over the country and arrested everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, they are not fucking around. And these people are going to get real charges. Here's what I hope that really happens is that people realize there are consequences for your actions.
Yep.
And that I don't want people's lives to be ruined. I don't care about all that. I just think we let this idea of free speech get to a point that it was harming people.
Yeah.
Which that is not, because we've talked about it here so many times about you can't say those things in any other setting except the internet. Mm-hmm. And so in real life, there are consequences when you say those things.
Yeah.
At your job, there's consequences. If you say it in a newspaper, it's consequences. You say it on television, they'll just go to the next person.
Yeah.
But on the internet, there's never been that consequence. And now we're learning you can't act like this on the internet. Yeah. And if you do, sorry, there's consequences for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think this has to open their awareness to the radicalization. I mean, look, people have been pointing to it. They've been saying Trump will not denounce QAnon. There's this whole thing, but it's like literally we thought it was a complete joke until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was like, haha, these losers believe this. They're so crazy. And then there they are.
Yeah.
And do you know what we did at post 9/11 with similar radicalization? We rounded them up, put them in a prison in Cuba called Guantanamo Bay, and denied them of all their human rights, starved them to this day.
And all those, not all, I don't want to generalize, but a lot of those people storming the Capitol were big waterboarding fans.
Yes. And a lot of people in Guantanamo Bay have still not been charged because they have no evidence of anything.
Yeah.
But they're just holding them there.
Yeah.
And that's what's such a mindfuck about this is a lot of those people that consider themselves patriots think that's great. And they think, kill all the intruders.
So the Republicans are very pro Guantanamo Bay. Right. And even though Obama should have figured it out, he didn't. He just didn't prioritize it. And I think that's a blemish. But what would the Republicans do if this was a bunch of liberal Antifas? Throw them in an island where?
Oh, they would love to. They would love to make an island for Antifas.
Yeah.
And just put them in there and waterboard them.
Yeah.
And be like, who's your leader? Well, do you love Bernie Sanders? Yes or no? Say AOC. Just say it. The other thing I saw that's such a mindfuck is I saw a video of Giuliani saying, like, imagine if you had a chance, or maybe it was Steve Bannon, one of the two. Imagine if you had a chance to stop Hitler. This is your chance. So, like, these people legitimately have been brainwashed, essentially, to think that they are truly patriots doing the best for the country, stopping a dictator, when actually the crazy thing about it is they're the Nazis.
Yes, they're the Nazis.
In this scenario.
Yes.
That's insane. But I will say, I got to point out, because we pointed out very quickly and heavily the comparison to the Black Lives Matter protests. I do got to say, the FBI going and rounding up people after the fact is pretty impressive. That didn't happen after Black Lives Matter protests that I know of.
Yeah, but
so at least
they didn't,
I agree. I'm not saying
the crime wasn't the same.
I agree, but all that I'm saying is that was kind of our whole point, was the crime isn't the same, but it got treated way less. So at least, I'm just saying at least, a glimmer of hope. I think the Capitol Police blew it. I think there was a lot of cops on the scene that were probably with those guys, but at least someone is saying, yo.
And you know what that kind of signifies to me is, the FBI and the national intelligence agencies are apolitical for the most part. Sure, you have Republicans, Democrats, but you don't go into those fields because you can make so much more in the private sector unless you are actually there to do the work that you're passionate about, right? And they clearly view the people who breached the Capitol as a national security threat.
Yeah.
They do not view BLM as a national security threat.
Yeah.
Because they would, if they thought the protests back in June actually posed a national security threat, they would have done what you said, which is go round them up. And it's actually not about race. It's not about politics.
Yeah.
These people are dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I love. I just wanted to point out, I love when there's one part that makes sense. Because there's so much of it that doesn't, and there's so much of it that's like, yo, that's not fair. That wouldn't have happened. But seeing all these people and seeing the change of tune, like the lady that was on the PJ that filmed herself being like, we're storming the Capitol. I don't give a fuck. She's now on TV like, the president told me to do it. I don't know why I did it. I apologize for doing it. Like everyone now that they've seen the FBI show up at their doorstep has a different tone.
Yeah.
But it's the thought of the fact that all of these people were just going to get walked out of the Capitol and there was 14 arrests and it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So at least we're seeing some level of
And I think what's crazy is you've brought this up numerous times. These aren't like the poor factory guy that was left behind. When you arrest 3 people who live in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a doctor, I think was one of them.
There's cops. There's ex-military.
Yeah.
It's nuts. So anyway, look, I mean, I think everyone's going to be on pins and needles tomorrow.
It sounds like none of these people are getting pardoned. It sounds like his advisors have said that it's bad for his future to pardon any of these people.
Is that why? Because I see he's he might pardon Lil Wayne and
Lil Wayne people. At least, play the game with him.
I know, but why isn't he pardoning his homies? That's why.
I mean, who says not pardoning his homies?
Well, so the thought is that Lil Wayne will probably get pardoned. There's some other, Sheldon Silver, but Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon and him may have fallen out, and I think that's more like it.
I thought there was one other homie that was sure, you thought was sure to get it, that might not.
I mean, they're expected to see 100+ people come out tomorrow. I mean, that is going to be a blockbuster list.
I'm telling you, man, we need that Coachella lineup.
Yeah.
Kodak Black might get it.
Yeah.
That's
Big for rap.
Kodak Black on the main stage.
Yeah.
I think he pardoned Snowden just to get
he did.
Just to get some positive press, because then the liberal media would be forced to say hey,
I'm going to say
thing.
Zero chance.
Because he doesn't. Yeah, but he cares about popularity.
But it seems like all he cares about right now is trying to make life as difficult as possible.
Yeah.
For Biden.
Yeah.
They said that who was it? Manafort? Who was it that just spoke out about China? Who just spoke out and said Pompeo? Sorry.
Yeah.
Pompeo, it just spoke out. Now all of a sudden, humanitarian crisis.
Yeah.
China's fucked up. Now all of a sudden you're doing all this just to ruffle all the feathers right before.
That's literally what it is. They've been mum on the genocide issue in China, and Pompeo on his last day drops a bomb and leaves.
So I want to get back to one point before we move forward. So there was a documentary on HBO, it's probably a decade ago, on when in India and Mumbai, terrorists from Pakistan came in on boats and stormed the city. Hundreds, if not thousands, died. We don't know what the actual death toll is, but they went to all the 5-star hotels, took everyone hostage, and were just offing people left and right.
Mm-hmm.
They had the phone taps of the terrorists talking back to command in Pakistan, telling the terrorists, what to do. And they were clear. It was like, it was sad on so many fronts. Obviously, like the obvious thing is they went and killed a bunch of innocent people for no reason.
Yeah.
It's awful. But the next version of sad was that the terrorists were clearly poor, uneducated people, and command in Pakistan was telling them, like, you got to do it, keep killing. We're going to get your family if you don't. They basically told these people, like, your family's toast unless you keep on the mission and go be a martyr and go get killed.
Yeah.
And that's like terrorism broadly in the Middle East. It's a bunch of poor people. They get radicalized. Their families get promised all these unfulfilled promises of money and like they're going to have a good life, but you have to go kill yourself to advance this mission. What are these people doing here? These are all well-to-do people that can fly in PJs, live in Beverly Hills, they're doctors. So it's so much worse is what I'm trying to say, because the terrorists abroad are really poor people and you have well-to-do people controlling them. They're actually doing the mission.
And here's the thing. Look, what Mike Pompeo said today. He said wokeism, multiculturalism, all the isms, they're not who America is. They distort our glorious founding and what this country is all about. Our enemies stoke these divisions because they know they make us weaker. Multiculturalism is one of the things Mike Pompeo talks about. And when people because I've gotten the message on like, oh, politics, you guys shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be a representation for what is not okay in society, which is you can't tell. This is the Secretary of State of America saying multiculturalism is a problem in this country, which is one of our greatest strengths is our diversity.
Which is why I was scared this morning.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's like, and I think about like the impact these last 4 years is going to have on this country. It's so devastating that so many people think this way. So many people act this way. It's going to be very similar to yesterday we celebrated Martin Luther King's birthday. His daughter shared like he was the most hated man in America the day he died.
Yeah.
His approval rating was like 20-something%.
Yeah.
He was enemy number one in America. We're going to look back. Our children will look back at this time and we're going to be like, how the fuck did you guys elect this clown?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like when my kids are studying history, they're like, America elected this demagogue.
But I also think it's so much deeper because I truly believe this, and people have said this ad nauseum, that Trump's the symptom, not the cause.
Yeah.
That the cause is the people who stormed the Capitol. They got radicalized on YouTube, Facebook, and Google, that they thought that was okay.
Yeah.
Trump just exploited them.
Yeah, but if he was never there, we would not have gone to this.
I think someone else would have come along.
He's one of the best.
That's what my new opinion, my evolved opinion is that I think it was the perfect storm. I think there was a feeling going on in the country that just needed a voice and a name and a leader, and they found it perfectly in Donald Trump, who happens to be charismatic and all the buzzwords. And I don't know,
man. So
man.
Do you think he's a unicorn that's going to be tough to replicate?
I do. I think that there will be.
And you had Roger Ailes and Trump. This was a perfect storm from Roger Ailes actually identified the opportunity and found the puppet.
Roger Stone, too.
Yeah, Roger Stone.
You had this perfect all-star team that perfectly did it. And Donald Trump, like, man, it takes a special type of person to be able to make people think he's a billionaire business leader. So you have a lot of, like, there's a lot of smart people that voted for Trump. We know that. We know some of them. But so you were able to have that because otherwise you wouldn't win the vote. And then he won't denounce QAnon. He won't whatever. He sort of has his little dog whistles and whatever. I just don't know you can ever match that again. I do think the reason why it's so dangerous is because now those people have been so fired up that they don't just go away and be like, oh, Joe's not so bad. Like that doesn't happen. They're going to continue to try to like relive the glory days, which is really dangerous. And I think like whether it's like attempts on Joe Biden's life or security issues, like there's going to be these little groups that are very serious. But I don't know, man. I think we will look back at it in history for the rest of our lifetimes and be like, wow, what a unique convergence of events that perfectly lined up and created chaos.
Yeah, and it's it's going to be a very sad period in American history. That's what it really is.
But my fear is if we allow the algorithms to continue the way they are, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think the laws are about to change. I mean, here's the thing. Big tech played their card. They're like, we're willing to censor now. Okay? So now the politicians are going to come back and they're going to change policies. Because now there's going to be smart people from tech that are going to advise politicians on these are the best policies. So I actually think it is the best case. The fact, if you forget that you may not like what happened to Trump and all these accounts, it's going to actually give us the best laws now. Because I actually think the right answer is somewhere in the middle, but we don't have that today.
It's funny. I got sent a video on YouTube by someone who's smart, who I respect, and it was on Bitcoin. And I was like, dude, I'm not clicking on this.
Yeah.
I just have an aversion to YouTube when it comes to something that like could potentially be of like
bullshit.
Yeah, I was just like, there's no way I'm watching this. I was like, I know this is going to be full of shit.
Yeah, wait till you get to TikTok. I'm telling you, YouTube is fucking Harvard.
Yeah.
But the platforms are the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I think the laws are going to evolve though, really quickly.
I do too. I think in hindsight, we will see that this was like really close to like absolute disaster and rock bottom as a country, but people will evolve it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. What's going on with Mitch McConnell? Is Mitch McConnell having a change of heart here?
Yeah, he's saying on the floor of the Senate that Donald Trump provoked the rioters.
Fuck yeah, Mitch, because I saw little Lady G kind of was like going backwards.
Yeah, Lady G is still Team Trump. I think he realizes he's important for his future.
But little Lady G came out on the Senate floor that night and was like, this is ridiculous. We got to say it. And then like 2 days later is like with Trump and like, if you don't pull the impeachment.
I bet you Trump has something on him.
But then
I bet he does.
Graham now is trying to be the voice of reason. We need to lower the temperature. Yeah. When he was literally lighting the gas on the fire.
He said the other day, if you impeach Donald Trump after the election, you're the weakest man in U.S. history. He is trying to unite the country.
Yeah.
Who believes this?
Lindsey Graham just needs to. This guy is bad news.
This guy's bad news. I hope in hindsight we realize how close we came and we don't tolerate the fuckery.
Yeah, that's why, when you have I think it's everyone's responsibility to call this shit out. Like, we can't just be like, oh, we're not talking about politics.
Like, we need, if it goes back to, let's just say you go all the way back to Barack Obama wasn't born in this country. We need Democrats and Republicans to both say, whoa.
Yeah.
That's not it.
Yeah.
So, like, throw your shit, do whatever. But it's like, you would have to think that getting this close to danger would make people in charge. But I don't know. You're not seeing it. It's fucking a week later and they're like, what's the big deal?
What I don't understand is, doesn't everyone know if we're all getting along, everyone's happy, everyone's making more money? It's about money. That's it. It's just about money. Let's just let the good times roll.
So Barack Obama is obviously a brilliant guy who went into politics for seemingly all the right reasons. Like, he could have made more money in the private sector and was like a community organizer and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you think he has any regret now because that he became president? Because all the hope and change that he was seeking for, and I know you've read his book, and it literally exploited the worst aspects of what is an American society.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. My guess from reading his book, and I'm completely guessing, is that alone, going to bed at night with Michelle, he might be like, what the fuck was that all for?
Yeah.
Like, we like threw our lives into this thing. I lost 10 years of my, grade my hair up, aged me.
And woke up a sleeping giant.
Yeah.
I think he might be feeling that at this current moment, but we're going to get the next generation of leaders because of him.
Sure.
Yeah, and maybe he knows that. I mean, I think he knows that ultimately, but I do think it has to challenge him.
I'm sure I don't think he has any regrets, but I'm sure he's thinking about, should I have done this?
Yeah.
What conclusion he comes to, I'm sure it's the same. Like, I'm glad I did it.
But hey, look, it's the forward-facing Barack, and you never know what goes on behind the scenes. But the whole reason why the book is called Promised Land is because his whole mission is, we do not currently live up to what this country says that it is. Where all men are created equal and whatever, but we can.
Yeah. And he also always talks about how change is uncomfortable. So we're really uncomfortable the last 4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, like I said on our live stream the night of the Congress thing, I do think, optimistically speaking, there is a really positive angle on this, which is that Barack did stir the pot a lot. What you're seeing is the kid throwing the temper tantrum, which all culminated on the Capitol Hill on January 6th. And that's what, of course, you're going to see. If there's true change happening, you're going to see that group doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's actually a sign. If that group was quiet and happy, it's not a sign that things are changing.
Yeah.
And if you see a guy marching with a Confederate flag through the Congress building, it's because his beloved racism is going away,
Yep.
not because it's alive and well. So I don't know. I think in that way, we're in the painful spot of the Band-Aid rip, but I do think it's a sign that things are going well.
Yeah, I
or
agree.
going in the right direction.
I believe so too.
Okay, next up, let's talk about debt real quick. Janet Yellen brought up some questions. We're just running through debt.
Yeah.
And so do we ever reverse it? Does money?
What's
not
America's credit score? It's got to be in the 400s.
At best.
Yeah, I mean, it is a deadbeat fucking.
I mean, when can you go to friggin' Visa and be like, can I just get a little more?
I mean, like, when Trump got into office, we were $14 trillion in debt, which sounds like a lot, but I think our GDP is like 20-something trillion.
Okay.
We are now 21 trillion in debt. We've gone up 50%.
Double it.
Yeah, so we are, and we still have the 1.9 trillion that's going to spit out next month.
Let's get to an even 30. I think we're falling short.
Let's round up. I agree.
I don't know how, like, sovereign debt works and how this all world plans out.
Like, at what point does China own us? Is that what you're
Yeah, I
asking?
mean, like, does it even matter? Like, is this all just fake and like trillion here, 5 trillion there? What does it mean? I mean, what the fuck how are they going to solve this problem?
I don't think
Yeah.
they have to, because China will keep buying the debt, and China owns too much of the debt that U.S. disappearing will crater China. So you have two people who need each other desperately, and that's the future.
So we just play this fake game of,
Yes.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, fuck it, right?
Yeah.
Then why don't we give everyone 20 grand?
Yes.
Hey, stimulus. Everyone gets a new fucking
Courtesy of the Chinese.
Chrysler.
Yeah,
That's how you tie diplomatic ties. The Chinese gave
Yeah.
you the virus, but
Send
hey,
over a Toyota.
they gave you 20.
Yeah. There's no Chinese automakers in America, right?
Yeah, but just it's close.
Yeah.
I think that's how you can get everyone comfortable. Like, hey, they killed 400,000 people and shut down the economy, but you got a new car.
Here you
Everyone
go.
gets a new whip.
These new Chrysler minivans has auto opening doors. Okay, well that's good to know because we've definitely tested it in the last, really the last year heavily, but the last 4 years. I think didn't Trump used to talk a lot about the debt and how it's ridiculous?
Yeah.
Same way he talked about how Barack Obama golfs too much.
Yep.
And they just blew through his record. Just debt and golfing.
I don't understand how people don't recognize all those statements as such hypocritical, ridiculous things.
No one cares.
They don't
Just
care
storm
at
the
all.
Capitol.
I mean, what? He's defending us against a ring of pedophiles. Like, do
Thank
you really
God.
care about golfing?
Speaking from someone that probably was in the ring.
Yeah, someone might have their own ring back in Minnesota.
Mar-a-Lago.
I'm not sure all the people who stormed the Capitol are so clean themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have, you want to talk COVID?
Yeah.
Let's talk vaccine.
Yeah.
COVID vaccine. So the other topic here about COVID is that in Trump's continued effort to just make shit difficult for Biden, apparently they're looking at lifting a bunch of travel restrictions that they know Biden is against, just to like, haha,
Yeah.
you have to clean these up. And then so he'll have to just come in next week or this week and be like, all right, they're re-closed.
Yeah. Talk about just complete incompetence.
Yep.
UK is surging with cases right now.
Let them in.
He literally wanted to lift the ban.
I heard they have a new strain.
New strain, come on. It's a first class seat plus a strain comes with every
Plus
passenger.
a strain. Mask, forget it.
Yeah, don't even
We're
bother.
going for herd over here.
But it's just ridiculous. Like, why would you even comment on that? You haven't done anything in the last month to help Americans, and now you want to lift travel restrictions.
Yeah.
And then Biden quickly rejects it and says nothing like that's going to happen.
Can you tell me why
Sure.
the China virus is racist and the UK variant isn't? Because that's the new strain. It's called the UK variant.
Because you can't say UK funny like China.
Yeah.
The UK.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time.
Because UK doesn't identify with
Well, why isn't the West Nile virus
against black people?
or anyone who lives near the river?
Like river people?
Just saying, river people should be pissed. No, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I think it's because you can't say China.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other thing is, you might as well get the variant over here.
Yeah.
And just go ahead and get it over with, because it looks like not a whole lot of people are ready to take this vaccine.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. We were like, vaccine. I think probably like September, October. Vaccine. That is our savior. Here we are now. The vaccine exists.
It's here.
And not only can the U.S. government not figure out how to fucking get it to us, it's just sitting there, but we have this other problem that we kind of knew would come, which is a lot of people are scared of it.
It said only 120 million people really want the COVID vaccine.
Great. It
So
should be
more
easy
people
to get
watch Bridgerton,
Yes.
according to
Get it to those 120 million people. Stop.
Yeah, what the
stop
fuck? I
talking
want
about
it.
Stop talking about
Yeah.
it. Just get it out there. Because if 120 million people get the vaccine, 100 million people already have it. We're done.
Let's stop talking about it. And also, if 120 million people want it and they get it and don't have any problems, then 100 million more are going to want it.
Yeah.
If you can't go to your beloved, bar, restaurant, Coachella, whatever it is, without your COVID bracelet, your vaccine bracelet, you're getting it.
I also think these articles
Scare people.
are doing an injustice to society.
Yeah, stop talking about it.
talking about it. Just say vaccines here. Why? It's just shock news and like.
We just, we need a TikTok dance where a needle goes in your arm at the end.
Yeah.
It's just savage, classy, bougie, bink, poked. and every young person.
Yeah.
I know I mentioned a few podcasts ago about how the NBA, that's bubbling now, that the NBA is trying to get everyone vaccinated and then to be advocates. But we know Kyrie's not taking it.
He's not.
There's no way.
No chance.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Okay. All right. Let's hop into the other biggest topic, which, it's kind of, we've kind of plateaued, but I don't think, keep in mind, I'm not an advisor by any means, but I wouldn't take your eye off the ball. And we're going to see what our resident expert says. The world of crypto.
Mm-hmm.
Ethereum is making some news. What's going on there?
So the price is, I think, 5x'd in 3 or 4 months.
And it seems like it's always kind of tracked exactly with Bitcoin, but lately it kind of hasn't, right?
Yeah, it hasn't. And so Ethereum is what we've talked about before, is that is where all the innovation is actually happening within crypto.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about the average institutional investor who's buying Bitcoin, doesn't even give a shit about blockchain. Like, Bitcoin, new gold, got it, boom, here's 10 billion.
Yeah.
But what's going on with Ethereum is that there's so many people working on different financial products. That's where the actual new financial system is being created.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're building products, so all these altcoins that are going up 50, 60% a day, and then they're down 30, most of them that have any traction are built on the Ethereum protocol.
Yeah.
And if you're building on the Ethereum protocol, you need Ether, which is the coin, as gas that actually funds your product. And then you can build whatever lending product or derivatives or betting markets or...
That's Nas's coin, right?
Which
Ether.
one?
Ether? That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Got it. So it's more of a, because that's how you explained it to me before, like it's more what's used in like infrastructure of this stuff.
That's like the plumbing of the new financial system that's being built. So a good site to go on, DeFi Pulse, DeFiPulse.com. And that shows you how much Ethereum is locked in. Basically, people have locked in this much Ethereum to build different products.
Got it. Okay. It seems to me like, I mean, kind of universally, the main things talked about are Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Yeah. Definitely.
There's all these like,
There's
little
a-
coins.
Like, unless you're an engineer or you're going to do a real technical deep dive, the rest of it's just gambling.
Yep. So I should pull out a Dogecoin then.
But yeah, I mean, I think Ether today hit an all-time high compared to Bitcoin, which is a little bit off its all-time. So, I mean, it's crazy times in crypto. I mean, I started buying Ether November 21st, and it was $500 something.
Yeah.
And it's gone. It's up 100 something %.
3x.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Don't say we never gave you any thoughts. They're only thoughts. It's not advice.
Yeah.
And we are not registered advisors.
We're not registered anything.
But Pete is.
Yeah.
So
There's a YouTube video going around from 2013 with Naval, Winklevi, and the ex-CTO of Coinbase.
Yep.
They were at TechCrunch Disrupt talking about Bitcoin. And the tweet was basically like, imagine anyone could have been a millionaire if they just watched that video and bought.
Yeah.
Literally anyone. So that's the beauty of crypto. It's democratizing money.
Yeah.
Or if you just bought Celsius.
Or Monster Energy.
Or anything.
Literally buy an index fund for the S&P.
You would have been a millionaire.
Oh, shit. Okay. Next up, speaking of big moves, Microsoft is making a bet on the driverless car world. Uber, Tesla, what's it going to be?
What's crazy is, we talked about this last week, that GM was, releasing a whole new slate of electric cars. Cadillac came out with the flying car. And what do you know? Microsoft makes a $2 billion investment into GM on their driverless car business. And now they're a serious player. I mean, you have Microsoft's money. I'm sure Microsoft engineering talent that's going to help on it. I'm sure Microsoft's been working on it. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The stock's just soared, by the way, ever since.
We could have been millionaires that way too. Jesus.
If you're not a millionaire, you're a dummy.
I guess not, man. Holy cow. Let's make that a quote for Instagram. On and Murthy. I mean, look, there's millionaires storming the Capitol, so the bar is low. Okay, so yeah, I mean, big space. This just seems to me like, I guess we've said all this before, but like just such a massive, massive world. And I think we've all said that we don't think it'll be one winner.
Yeah.
There'll probably be multiples, but it's another thing that the more that I drive around now, maybe it's because I'm driving less or whatever, I think that one day soon, like by the time your kids would get driver's licenses, we will look back to think that we let anyone just whip a car at 60 miles an hour around the streets. We'll look at that as insane.
Yeah, it's insane. And I think I was just looking up the details of this deal. So Cruise is GM's autonomous division, and an electric car. Like, I think it's only their autonomous division. I don't think it's their electric.
Got it.
And they, it's just a driverless division. That business, which GM owns the majority of, is worth $30 billion privately. Cruises.
And there's not one car cruising out there.
Yeah,
Cruise for everyone who anyone could have invested in Cruise on Angel List. Yeah. So you could have been a millionaire that way too.
I mean, he was probably raising what, $100 million back then?
No, nothing.
Seed.
Like $5-10 million.
Oh my God.
That's same with Uber. Uber was on Angel List. And like, forget D's really cool story of how he passed on it, but
we
everyone passed. You're all losers.
Yeah, you're right. We just named 10 opportunities that are our Uber.
That is it's available to everybody.
That's what I always keep saying. Like, these aren't going to stop, by the way.
This is why I think we might need like an on-and
cruise. Anand should do a cruise where he takes you on a boat, and then he just sells you investment ideas.
He could go public next year.
Spack me up.
Anand cruise.
The Q Anand cruise.
But so
cruise Anand.
I don't want to read too much into Microsoft giving $2 billion into Cruise, because Google did that with Uber. And then we're like, fuck it, we're going to do this on our own.
Yeah.
So this could be just an expensive education for Microsoft on how they should be thinking about autonomous vehicles. Because, And NVIDIA is a perfect example of a company. It's a chip maker that basically is the technology behind a lot of this crypto boom. They're actually making the chips. So Microsoft knows autonomous is the future. Autonomous vehicles is a multi-trillion-dollar business.
Yeah.
You want to be the software behind it. And if you can figure out the software and then you license it to everyone. So I view this more as a $2 billion crash course for the company to learn.
Well, I'll tell you what, if my new vaccine chip doesn't tell my car where it wants me to go because of this deal, I'm going to be pissed. My blood and my car is all driven by Microsoft and Bill Gates. Okay, what about this? Apple is apparently maybe putting some attention on podcasts.
Yes.
I don't know if you've heard about podcasts, but they're these new things. A lot of people are doing them. Very valuable. And a lot of other companies have been like very actively doing big deals. You know, people like Spotify, Amazon, you know, some small players in the
Small
space.
guys.
And now it looks like Apple, the word is mulls. So they're mulling.
Yeah.
Potentially jumping in and kind of revamping their service.
Yeah, they're taking an interesting approach. So Apple controls 52% of the podcast market. They want to take a subscription approach. That's what they're mulling. This all goes back to their actual subscription strategy, right? So they are just trying to get you on a monthly plan to be in the Apple universe.
Yep.
So you're going to pay for your phone. You're going to pay for the content. You're going to pay for music. Charge you $4 more. I'll give you some exclusive podcast content. And I think that's where they're going to head is they're going to go round up a bunch of talent and go get a few exclusive opportunities. This is contrary to how the podcast universe works, though. Is the problem is that podcast has been based on advertising and free.
But that's because of Apple.
Sure, but it's hard to change that behavior now.
Yeah, but I would argue that the only reason why that precedent was set is because
Apple didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. It's literally like people just had to figure it out themselves. And like, fuck it, I could sell ads on here because no one else is giving a shit that I'm even doing this.
Yeah.
And I think that if they changed that and they did some sort of rev share or whatever, it would change the whole...
The problem is Spotify is actually setting the worst precedent, which is we're going to buy exclusive content. I'm going to pay for my Spotify, and then I have to hear 63 minutes of ads on Joe Rogan.
But Joe Rogan, even on the paid version, has the ads.
That's what I'm saying. As a paid subscriber of Spotify, why am I listening to ads?
Yeah, it's broken. Everyone's trying to figure it out, you know?
I mean, that's a pretty easy... Spotify knows that I'm a paid subscriber. Don't serve me fucking ads.
But I believe that Joe Rogan is free to everyone. I think that that's why.
Sure.
I know that if you're paid, you shouldn't have to listen to him. But
Yeah,
I think
that's
that
what I'm saying.
they didn't break out the two separate models. They just said Joe Rogan's free for everyone, so we're going to follow the ad model that he used.
Then I want credit back
does
when I listen to an ad.
Spotify own that ad revenue now of Joe Rogan?
Must
There's
be.
a share.
To share.
There's a split.
So my guess is Joe Rogan was like, I make so much on these ads.
We're not stopping
We're
this
not
money
stopping
train.
it. So if you want to sign me up to be on your platform, the ads stay for everyone paid or unpaid.
Yeah, but you would think that
The 100 mils.
Spotify would be like, well, instead, we're going to give you a rev share on, you know, subscription or whatever the fuck and make up for that money or something. It just doesn't seem smart.
But so I my guess is that Joe Rogan's like, I'm testing the waters with the Spotify deal.
Yeah.
I'm not going to eliminate my God knows however many 50 to 100 million he makes on his podcast pre-Spotify.
Yeah.
That he's like, what if I don't like Spotify? I ruin all these ad relationships?
Totally. So I agree with you 1,000,000% for Joe Rogan's behalf. But to me, Spotify's responsibility to their customer is to say, we have X amount of paying customers that pay so they don't hear ads. And we got to figure out how to compensate Joe to take those ads off of those people's shows. Because they're fucking over the customer by giving you an experience that you paid to not.
Yeah.
I know. I
Right?
get what their incentive would be, but if I was Joe Rogan, I would never agree to it.
Why not
Because-
just give it to the non-paid users? It's the
No,
same
because
thing.
the paid users, the high quality users that the advertiser wants to reach.
Yeah, but if they compensate him
You're
for
like,
that,
no
he
one
has
wants
to
to
let
reach
that
you,
go.
the non-paid user.
Yeah, I'm the non-paid user.
You're not gonna
No one
consider it.
cares.
You're not paying for this. You're not paying for fucking On It or whatever the hell for vitamins. I agree. I just think that like it's a bit of a fumble right now because
They should have just bought Joe Rogan for $1 billion.
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't have this issue.
Yeah, because instead what I believe is happening is Joe Rogan is keeping his ad, they're doing an ad split, but Spotify is also selling in bigger ads. So he's getting increased money, probably like more, including taking his split into consideration. He's probably making more money post-split with the new rates that Spotify is buying than he would have doing it on his own.
Because the people that have sold to Spotify that I listen to, like Bill Simmons, the ads went from MeUndies to like McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like it's big ass companies.
I think Joe's are starting to too.
Okay.
Because I think you're just dealing with Spotify sales team, not Joe Rogan and friggin' Jamie or whoever. You know what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. Like we always joked about this, but Joe Rogan's ads, for the most part, were like
e-com.
Yeah,
they still are.
Like the biggest brand was Manscaped.
Yeah. We have two advertisers, Liquid IV and Manscaped. They're both
exactly. So like it's like on it, Liquid IV, Manscaped. It's not. They're not selling to Pepsi and whatever. I don't know. It's interesting. But look, I think what we're seeing is an industry that is trying to figure out, like it came out of nowhere. The demand was there before anyone planned for it. And like they're now trying to figure out how to clean it up.
Yep.
So we'll see. But it could be good news for smaller creators. I don't know. I think the thing that's so amazing about YouTube is smaller creators can quit their jobs and create and make a few $1,000 a month and live.
Yeah, it's amazing.
But you can't do that as a podcaster right now. The barrier to really get money is too high.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, we have a new IPO alert.
Boom, boom, boom.
Or buzz. Bumble is filing for a, $900 million IPO?
That's what they plan to raise. Valuing the last value of the business was $3 billion.
Oh, they're going to raise 900.
So the revenues last year looks like it was a little over $500 million.
Mm-hmm.
So they should be worth in the range of $15 to $20 billion by next week.
I think 20 to 25.
Yeah. This
Why
thing
not?
seems ripe for explosion, for unexplainable growth.
And the headline is, what's all the buzz about Bumble?
There you go.
I'll tell you what, I've worked with Bumble a little bit in the past, and they stay very true to the buzzing. Everything is like, the office has been buzzing.
Really?
This is yeah.
Can I buzz you later?
You sure can.
Can you buzz off?
I don't know about that.
Is the Russian guy who initially funded it still the majority owner?
Yeah. I think they're the holding company that still owns it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think they've structured it differently. And the woman that started Bumble, crazy story if you don't know her backstory, she was early co-founder, right? Or employee at Tinder.
Mm-hmm.
Got into a sexual harassment lawsuit, I believe, with the Tinder founders, or with one of the founders. Sued, left, won some money, and went and started a dating site.
Yeah.
And now
she is.
I think she's going to be one of the youngest public CEOs.
Yeah, Whitney Wolf. She has a lot of great, I think maybe a How I Built This. She has some good content
good for
out
her.
there. Yeah.
That's amazing. It's an incredible story.
That's really great. Okay, next up. This is something I didn't even know existed, but I think we should put on all of our listeners' radars, is somewhere in the range of 21% of Shopify sellers have been found to be fraudulent, apparently. So what does fraudulent mean in this aspect? Like,
so
it's not a real store?
This is the big problem with the internet still. 21% of Shopify sellers are considered fraudulent. It's
a lot.
Fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's a lot.
And this is the problem. If you go on Etsy, you know how many people are infringing on trademarks and copyrights? It's out of control. You go on Wish. Wish is a place for fraud. You wish there was more fraud. You wish it was
real.
Yeah, you wish it was real. Exactly. And so Shopify, I'll give you a problem my wife just had over the holidays. She was looking to buy a robe from a company called like Barefoot Dreams.
Okay.
Some like French terry, nice warm robe.
Okay.
She goes on the website, purchases it. It's like, I don't know, let's call it $150 or $125. She buys the robe, gets it. It's nothing like the robe on the website.
Okay.
She then goes on to figure out that someone had pretty much spoofed the website and created like barefootdreamshop.com or something like that. She purchased from them. They're like a Chinese drop shipper that just copied it. She got into a dispute on PayPal or wherever she was fighting with. It took 2 months of fighting. I finally got the refund. And then Barefoot Dreams, if you go on their website now, says these websites have been fraudulently selling our product, claiming that they are our brand. So can you imagine how much of this is going on with drop shipping? Specifically, it's drop shippers that are probably doing the most fraud. But like, they gotta monitor that. This is this very similar problem to like, you know, the moderation on social media platforms.
Yeah.
It is Shopify's responsibility to protect their sellers. And for you, it's the same problem Amazon has. It has the same problem eBay has. You have to protect brands and sellers at all costs. Just because you're making money, 21% means probably 21% of their revenue too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, it can't be 21% of the revenue.
It's
It's 20% of the number of sellers, because you'd have to imagine that the top
Maybe
10%
it's more.
of Shopify represents over 60% of the revenue. Or something
Maybe
of that.
fraud's hot. Fraud's
Fraud's
wins.
hot, but it's not 21%.
Fraud's hot, but yeah, I don't know. That seems a little crazy. But 21% of sellers.
But they do have to protect their customers because, I mean, Amazon had the same issue.
Yeah, they still do, and they're dealing with it.
Yeah, they will too. They're just a little behind. Toby's only been public for so long.
Toby better move his ass.
Yeah. Tell me, hey.
21% is unacceptable of fraud.
But it makes sense.
That's like walking into
You know
a
how
Macy's
easy it is
and
to-
1 in 5 things are fake. Ralph Lauren, fake. Tommy Hilfiger, real.
As long as you just blindly refund, then they can figure it out.
It's not blindly refund because it's at the mercy of the seller. Or then it becomes a credit card payment processor's issue. Shopify is just like
Throwing their hands up.
They're like Facebook. It's not our fault that where criminals sign up.
Who holds the bag on
Payment processor.
So
Barefoot Dreams?
So
Who refunded the money?
So PayPal refunded it. But I don't know if they're reclaiming that money from the.
I'm sure they'll go after whomever. It just keeps going.
And then the site gets shut down.
Yeah, that's just a web of craziness, man.
Web of crime over a robe.
The internet has just created. Yeah, you're right. That's why it's Barefoot Dreams. You know, you never actually get it. It's just in your dream.
It's a dream.
Okay. All right. Here's another interesting thing. We talk a lot about jobs. You know, I think last week we were talking about how a lot of jobs are going away. And where new opportunities are. And, you know, we obviously talk a lot about that. And there's this article about Postmates salaries revealed. So it seemed like a good thing to talk about and just shed some light on what people are making.
Not drivers, just to be clear, just so people don't get confused. You're going to make this as a driver.
Yeah, it's a little different.
So we've been hyping up the importance of engineering degrees. We've been hyping up software technology as like the future. The base pay for a software engineer at Postmate is between $130,000 to $180,000 a year.
Jeez.
Senior level engineers is a starting base pay of $180,000, and the maximum base salary is $230,000. Plus, you're obviously getting stock options, you're getting probably great health plan, all those things.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, like, my guess is an engineer at Postmates is probably not storming the Capitol because he's rich or she's rich.
You wouldn't think so.
But we debunk that. They're rich people who storm the Capitol.
Maybe not engineers.
Maybe not engineers. Maybe they don't
They're
have the
logically
profile.
thinking, if I storm the Capitol, high.
But didn't you
chance
say
of-
there was a
and they're-
doctor?
yeah.
Well, doctors, not all doctors are smart. There's some
true.
quacks out there.
Yeah, there are.
I also think the logical thinking maybe gets you away from the conspiracy.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
like, could this really happen?
Especially if it's just interesting to see that the life-changing dollar amount of money you can earn if you choose the right path at a young age.
35% of college graduates in China are engineers, 5% in the U.S. That's all you need to know.
What do I need to know?
I think it's pretty clear. If you want to,
Can you spell it out a little clearer?
Maybe you don't need to know it.
All right. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it's interesting, man. It's a conversation that'll be very heavy, I think, in this country for a while because it's just shifting.
Yeah.
And if you're waiting for the steel plant to get rebuilt in your town, you might be thinking wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Chipotle. You know, Chipotle's always done a good job at marketing. They had, you know, I would say 7 to 15 E. coli issues, but other than that,
500.
they've done a really good job at marketing, and they especially really embraced TikTok really early. Did a lot of like challenges and viral videos and stuff like that. Looks like their newest big celebrity marketing campaign is a collaboration with Shawn Mendes. They're going to make the Shawn Mendes Bowl.
Shawn Mendes Bowl, which is $12.20.
It's expensive.
Expensive.
Yeah,
Because it's
Shawn.
cauliflower rice, black beans, chicken, roasted chili corn salsa, romaine lettuce, and guacamole. Quite tasty. I'd probably do it without the chicken and give it a shot. But interesting choice of celebrity. I know Shawn Mendes is extremely popular. This is clearly going after like a healthier crowd. So are they trying to attract young women? Because I'm assuming that's his audience.
I think love young women. You know, there's like a Chipotle. Like Chipotle is like a young. It's like almost like a.
Wait, why are you sashaying?
It's a thing. It's like, you know, like Chipotle. Got my Chipotle.
Well, so women like Chipotle or they don't
I
like
think young
Chipotle?
women like Chipotle.
Okay.
So they're going to their audience, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
wanted to understand who they're
I
targeting.
think like, yo, I got my
Chipotle.
tea. I'm gonna stop by and get my Chipotle. It's like I think that's a big market.
Found it fascinating that Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, like the peak athletes of their generations, were
slinging-
selling McDonald's.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. I think that's part of look like as we sort of the truth comes out a little bit more, you know, you realize that LeBron probably isn't down in Big Macs before the game.
Yeah.
And now he's selling, you know, ladder instead.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, that is really funny. Well, now it's Chipotle. I think it's dead on. I think it'll probably work. I just do think, listen, Shawn,
$12 is high.
$12
Yeah,
is high.
not in a pandemic, bro.
Cauliflower rice. Fuck off.
We need to be $8.
Tone it down, bro.
$8
What
with
rice will do?
taxes.
I want 8 out the door.
Come on. Okay. Last but not least, Jesus, here we are again.
Yes.
Netflix.
Yes.
Netflix has a show that I have not even heard anyone kind of talk about.
Why? It's number 1 now.
Lupin.
Lupin.
So Lupin is their new show. Haven't heard anything about it. But apparently 70 million other people have, and they love it. It has 70 million subscribers have seen Lupin.
If you want to have fake data, you just have to be brazen. So Bridgerton was 63 million last month. Lupin's 70 million.
Yeah. By the
You're
way,
just going to keep increasing
Like,
the
I got an idea.
stakes.
Netflix, make a show about how great the vaccine is. You'll double the numbers.
yeah, if they honestly could.
Just do a freaking superhero movie where he gets the vaccine and he's amazing. I mean, 70 million people. And also the word seen. Lupin seen by 70 million. I don't know what that means. Does that mean it's on the homepage and you saw it?
No, so in their data says, so this is the challenge, is as long as 2 minutes have been watched, they count it as a view.
2 minutes.
It's a trailer.
That's an automatic that when it goes to the next show.
No, but 2 minutes, you're gonna let that
You
go
went
for
to
2
the
minutes?
bathroom, you got some water,
Yeah,
you got some.
got Doritos or whatever.
So I think my gauge is always by the social media impact of like the talent. So like
That's the fastest way to have tens of millions of followers be on a Netflix show.
yes, because like the Bridgerton guy
Yeah.
is effectively the next Will Smith. Like he's gonna be the biggest fucking star.
Yeah.
In a week.
That's true.
And Netflix actually just came out with their earnings, beat it on every level. The stock is soaring in after hours.
Okay.
International growth is really where they're growing. It is on fire, their international growth. I think like that's obviously, I think in America, they're probably quite saturated.
Yeah.
And globally, it seems like they're just scratching the surface of their opportunity. But I mean, it just shows like the bet. I remember we were talking about this maybe a year or two ago, like, they're spending so recklessly on content. And then the pandemic happened and they're the only one with new content.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That is true. It's so crazy how just like,
I'm on Netflix every night.
yeah, content's just dead.
Yeah.
There's just not that big movie moment, that an emerging star.
It's just whatever these guys decide to put out. Lupin.
It's literally Lupin and friggin' young girls dancing on TikTok. That's what you got to choose from. And quiet ass sports. I know you guys love it. I've seen it on the social, but it just doesn't. Me being like a fringe sports guy, it just feels dead.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
Sports in general.
Yeah, like just without the crowd and the, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all we got for today. We do have, of course, our As Seen on Social segment. So why don't we go around and talk about what everyone maybe missed or what we saw on social media in the last week that was amazing.
I didn't have anything on social media, but I wanted to say that I put on my Instagram, should I start watching? My wife was like, we should either start watching Sex and the City or Gossip Girl.
Tough choice. You're between a rock and a hard place there.
Yes, a very tough choice. We went Gossip Girl.
Okay.
I've watched 2 episodes.
You love it.
I love it.
Is there a new Gossip Girl or it's old?
No, this is from 10 years ago.
Wow, you're a good husband.
Yeah. Blake Lively is not, I didn't know anything about her acting chops. Not impressed.
Not impressed.
Not impressed.
10 years later, you have some
Timus,
feedback.
you have any thoughts? I feel like you would have watched Gossip Girl.
I haven't watched Gossip Girl.
It's
I take
like
your recommendation very seriously.
Thank you.
Isn't there a new Sex and the City?
There is. So we're definitely going to watch Sex and the City, but Gossip Girl, there's a lot of meat on the bone there. You're talking 5-6 years, probably a lot of content.
Yeah. Good for you, man. Good.
Yeah.
You know what? Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, very selfless of you.
Yeah.
On it.
So the day before the family becomes irrelevant, Tiffany Trump just posted she got engaged. Think about the timing, because they know no one would care in 2 days if Tiffany Trump would get engaged. So she posted on Instagram. She got married to this guy named Michael Boulos. Don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay.
The son of a Lebanese conglomerate-like family that has a business based in Lagos, Nigeria.
Very interesting.
Good for Tiff, you know?
Yeah.
Donald approves of that?
I don't think so. But you know what? She's like, you're not even fucking president anymore, Dad. You're not even on Twitter. I don't respect you. Wow. Well, you know what? Tiff, it seemed like always was kind of out of the limelight.
Yeah, she was out of the...
So maybe she'll just chill out and have a nice, life. And she'll probably enjoy post-presidency life.
Yeah, because she can always escape to Lagos, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
she'll be in Lagos. How long until Melania is out? She already out?
I think
we got a fake in there already?
My guess is she'll file for divorce in a year.
You think a year?
Yeah.
That's a long time.
That's a long time.
I don't think they're going to live together.
I can't wait to see who his next bae is.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy Lauren.
Imagine. Oh, that'd be incredible. Okay. Mine, I'm going to keep mine nice and simple. Dr. Dre posted a photo back in the studio.
Wow.
With the whole crew. He's back home. He had that big brain aneurysm scare, and he looked good.
Okay.
Straight back to the studio. So props to Dr. Dre. That was, that felt like a 2021 starter that was like, really, this is how we're kicking it off.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Dre has a brain aneurysm. Capitol gets stormed. But things are looking up, guys. He's back.
Yeah.
So detox, 20 more years. But it's coming. That's it. Do we have shout-outs?
Of course. Of course we do.
We have Seymour Butts.
Well, should we start with Juicy Smoulier?
Okay. Oh my God. That's Jesse's brother. What happened to Jesse, by the way?
He's probably stormed the Capitol.
We have, hey guys, hope your week has been magnificent. Tim, your tone has been off-putting.
Oh.
I understand that times are stressful, so I'll respond with kindness. Michelle Obama definitely had Tim in mind when she said, when they go low, we go high. My question today is a more serious one. I'm curious to know what each of your guys' biggest failures were in life and how it affected you and what you learned from it. So we're going to take the next hour.
Episode's been too long.
That's a whole new podcast. Seymour Butts.
We'll get to that, Seymour,
Yeah.
at a later time, but we kind of went over time here.
Yeah. Well,
Let's try to stick to yes or no questions.
My biggest mistake was adding shout-outs to the end of group chat.
From anonymous people.
My biggest failure was allowing Tim to be
The moderator of the...
yeah, my biggest mistake was reading them, not reading the names first.
Yeah.
This one is from Savannah Bathke. from LA says, happy birthday to my wonderful boyfriend, Ryan Tierney. His birthday is on Wednesday the 19th.
Wow.
We love you, Ryan.
Happy
birthday,
Ryan.
Ryan.
So I'm celebrating.
Yeah, it seemed like he was
Like
with the boys playing a golf game.
Somewhere looked really fun.
Huh. Interesting, Ryan. Happy birthday.
And then we got one more from Carlos Chicali. City French Laundry.
Got it.
Hey guys, just want to give you guys a shout out. Keep kicking ass. I wanted to comment on dads overworking their kids. Drama, what can you say about Nyaja Houston? I don't know.
Nigel Houston.
Nigel Houston's
Same thing.
dad, how
He's
he
the
made a living
Tiger Woods
skateboarding
of-
goat.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
Earl Woods?
He's Earl Woods.
Wow.
Yeah.
It worked.
Same way. Took him to contest. Like, you better win, you little fuck.
And he
Now he's
won.
like the best skateboarder ever.
All I remember from this street league was he won every time.
That's it.
Nigel Houston.
That's it. If it happened again today, it would be the same story. Yeah, but he had an Earl Woods.
But how is he as a person? Is he well adjusted? Or is he like a tiger?
I can't really say. I can't really say. I mean, he hangs out with all the cool young kids.
Yeah, I see him in the videos.
He has girls around. He seems to be like social.
Yeah.
But I haven't spent enough time with him to say like where Tiger seems like legitimately uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Anytime a camera's around. I think Nyjah adjusted well. I think maybe when he was younger, it was a little tougher.
It's also a different level of fame.
That is also true. You can still
Tiger
go to
Woods
a
was the
club
most
in LA
famous
and no
person
one
in the
gives a
world
shit.
for a
Yeah.
period of time.
Yeah. Was that it?
Yeah. Then, I mean, we do have Miss Padilla complaining that Pete never gave the giveaway from.
Oh yeah, apparently someone won a giveaway on one of our Twitch streams, and Pete just ignored that too.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That people want to know where Pete is.
Yeah.
He's been,
Pete thinks
Jack Mud.
he's been Jack Mud. Let's just say he's doing fine.
Yes, we're hearing great things about him,
He's doing great.
but we have no, recollection of your boy Pete.
Yeah, Pete.
Yeah.
It was Matt. It was Pete. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we don't even know his name.
Yeah.
We don't even know who's this guy. Lupin? Is this Lupin?
Is he your boy?
All I'm saying is when we joke about like that white confidence where you think that you're immune to the virus,
Yeah.
let's just say Pete got that early.
Yeah.
And we're not so confident.
Yeah. I also want to give a shout out to Sweet Flower Cannabis Shop. They, I got a little package from them and Chelsea Handler for the inauguration. A little inauguration package.
A little chill out.
Yeah,
just in case.
a little canned drink, some pre-rolls.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be high as hell for this
As you
inauguration.
should be, man. Tune it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sweet Flower's great. They do a really good job of packaging and stuff.
Yeah, their branding is great.
Very good.
I like it.
Okay, is that it?
Yep.
That's it. We are out of here. Guys, good luck tomorrow. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
I would say probably no matter what side you're on, stay inside,
Yes, please.
and we'll get through this and on to greener pastures, as they say.
There's a UV light at the end of the road.
It's a UV light at the end of the tunnel.
End of the tunnel, sorry.
There you go. Okay, that's it. We'll see you soon.